The weather's getting warmer. The snow's gone. The sheep are starting to lamb. It's time to boil down the sap. If we don't, it could go rancid. Well, we've been tapping trees for about 2 weeks now. They slowed down for a bit as the weather's been a little fickle, but you can see they're still running just a little bit. So we're going to leave these buckets here, but we are going to start boiling down sap. One of the things to note as you're tapping trees, that different trees will tap at different rates. So you can see these don't have as much sap as those other buckets do. The location of the tree very often dictates which ones will tap the most first, and then later on another one will tap at a different rate. So the trees with the buds coming on them, those are the trees that are slowing down. But there are still some trees whose buds haven't emerged yet, so we'll keep tapping those for a day or two. So our trusty tractor is ready to bring the sap out to the spot where we're going to boil it down. You want to be careful not to boil down the sap inside, right, Mike?
You have to boil sap inside. You'll get a sugary film on your ceiling that the flies will love later on in the summer.
So Mike's bringing our sap on over to the sugar shack. At least that's what we call it. It's just a pavilion where we hold family gatherings and have campfires, and there's lots of wood here because we're going to need lots of it to boil down the sap. You can try boiling it down with propane outside, and we find that costs tons and tons of money because it takes lots and lots of propane. So we prefer boiling it right down here on our fire pit. So we strained it before we put it in the containers, but as we strain it to go in to the pot for boiling, we're going to strain it through some cheesecloth again. Now, one of those big jugs is a little heavy to lift, so we're going to strain it one bucket at a time into that cheesecloth. It's pretty clean now from having strained it before we put it in, but we want to make sure there's no debris. So here we go. We're straining that right into the cheesecloth just to make sure that there's no debris in that. And we'll just fill the pot to the top.
This is a 15-gallon cauldron. I only put 10 gallons in because if you fill it full, it'll boil over to start with. So keep it down about 4 to 6 inches from the top and you'll be fine.
So we're starting our fire, which will start heating up our sap, and it'll start to boil down. Now, a couple of things. One is, do not leave your sap boiling without being checked on. Especially if you're using propane, as it boils down, the more concentrated it gets, the faster it boils, and therefore, at the very end, if you leave this unattended, you can lose all the sap that you've gathered by overheating it and burning it. So keep an eye on it. We generally don't let it burn overnight, or we don't leave the fire going overnight, and that way we can control the heat, and we can make sure that it doesn't boil down too fast.
Well, that's about it. We just keep boiling it down and adding and boiling until we're all finished. It'll take about 4 or 5 days, and then we'll start processing the syrup. Be sure to subscribe.